My name is Steve Peters, and I'm the founder of baseconsulting.co, an end-to-end supply chain management solutions provider based in the US.
Yeah, this is Paul Weedman, the owner of Victure Group. Our business is to be the eyes and ears of our customers, helping the supply chain in China.
So how did the visit go at the film factory? Plastic film?
Yeah. It's very exciting. I made the visit to three manufacturers, or neighboring Shenzhen, as always.
Right.
Which it's pretty much convenient. It's like 1 hour drive to each of them. And the first one was not really very much cooperative. They used to do a lot of eco-friendly packaged product. Obviously, they're at the good moment of the world market, looking for environmentally friendly product. Have good business. So they simply don't care. Don't want to invest a lot of time into the new product development, which is understandable. For a lot of factories, manufacturers here in China, they are pretty much passive. They have no idea of what's going on in the market and don't care about that. They just want to have a lot of orders to feed into the production line.
Right.
I tried to convince them to make some changes on the machine because I already figured out what the problem is from our discussion. Then the second one, a plastic blowing factory. So if you look into most of the plastic sacks or even like the water bottle, they use the blowing technology to blow the whole product.
For bottles and things like that?
Yes.
That PET, like PET plastic?
It's called the PPLDPE something. I don't know exactly what's the name, but
one of the many variants.
So cool. This one seems to be more cooperative. So I made some demonstration of my idea in the office. So now we got the idea after several rounds of discussion how to make that product to be true. At least I believe we get to the point. So the idea is you use a plastic film at the edge, surrounding the edge. You laminate a harder kind of like a tape, and that will make the surrounding part to be like a very short wall. But there will be some manual work, and that will make the cost a little higher than usual, obviously.
Right. Additional process.
Yeah, but the good thing is at least agree to do some prototype for us for testing purpose. I'm still waiting for the final confirmation about the cost and lead time, but we will be there in the next day or two.
Sounds good.
Another thing which is really good is we also agree when we scale up, we have enough volume, we'll discuss together again about the machinery. So if you look into the whole supply chain, then we can talk to them face to face. But we'll do this at the same time. One, when we got the product prototype and the cost approved by our customer, then we move forward to the actual prototyping stage and the machinery evaluation. So whenever we want to scale to 10 million pieces or a billion pieces, we'll be ready. And that the cost will be even much more favorable, and the efficiency will be much higher. These recalls my mind to my traveling 2 days ago. That's that. Basically, it's basically recovered to what it was before COVID.
Yeah, which is great. It's very encouraging.
Nothing happened. It is. It is. A lot of foreigners coming here. Shenzhen is obviously the capital of hardware and tech product. The Did I tell you that I've just become a board member of a Troublemaker?
Oh, really?
And yeah,
Congratulations. That's great to hear.
yeah, I'm
Awesome.
going to organize a workshop for supply chain management,
Wow,
one of the
cool.
eight out there. I'm going to put the same name as behind the scene.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Uh,
That's
yeah,
cool. So is that in
on how to
Shenzhen?
yeah, yeah, in Bao'an.
Oh, no, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So the this type of ecosystem is very important when it comes to product development or engineering or manufacturing. Just take this plastic stuff as an example. You can hardly imagine how you got the product designed,
Hmm.
engineered, manufactured in any other corner of the world outside of China, right?
Yeah,
Because even if you have a great idea, you create a product, a prototype, and that's almost the ending of the so-called project for a lot of people
right.
outside of China. They think they got the
Yeah,
great idea, made a beautiful presentation,
right.
got the prototype. They raised $500,000 or $1 million, but at the end of the day, they realize that product cannot be molded or cannot be manufactured massively at all.
Right. And one thing that you always teach is that you need to have all the teams talking from the very beginning, like the mechanical engineer, whether it's the PCB designer, the software
Yeah,
guy, like everybody
yeah,
needs to be talking from the very beginning so that there's
yeah.
no mistakes made.
It's not only about the product engineering. You also have to take into consideration of production engineering, whether or not all the materials are available. And that's the meaning of visiting the factory, talking to the owner or their engineers face to face, and you got all these things verified and evaluated at the beginning. And
Mm,
when when these prototype comes out and it can be mass produced, which is
yeah,
very very important. And this also gives us a lot of advantages. You can imagine, if you give me an idea, I just got 2 or 3 manufacturers immediately,
yeah,
got the car, 2 hours,
yeah,
and it get down to the truth immediately,
yeah,
right?
right.
And that's very hard if you work anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, that's true. Like, so I noticed on LinkedIn, I see the various projects that are showcased that Victure Group has done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, those are like public ones, so ones that you can show and talk about. Are there any from that list that you would want to kind of just go over, maybe some issues you had with the product development, lessons learned,
Mm-hmm.
from any side, from the client side or the product development team side? For example, I see the one or it's a speaker
The
in
plush
this.
toy speaker, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
the plush toy speaker. Yeah, let's talk about that one.
Yeah, that's a real
Lessons learned.
uh, yeah, typical lessons
Yeah.
from my customer. And when she, yeah, this lady is very successful in her career, more than 20 years in her work, good salary. And then a year ago, she started to work on her own project of that plus toy electronic product. What she did is she got the industrial design designed in one city in the United States, then the electronic circuit board designed in another part of the country. What really surprised me is about how he got the other component. The mold is made in Henan, is
Yeah.
kind of like northern China. The plush toy is produced in like a northwest city, which I know for most of the Chinese either. This is not the worst. She even got the package made in Taiwan.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Now, she got all the components. It seems each of them works individually, but when they put them together, it doesn't work at all.
Right.
There are a bunch of things, lots of mistakes that she made in the process. First of all, as a supply chain management guy for many years, it's simply ridiculous when you just got all the supply chain scattered around different parts of the world.
Right.
It doesn't make sense from a logistics standpoint.
Right. But the reason why someone might do that is because they think that they're getting a better deal, or they have a relationship maybe with that supplier from a long time ago. Maybe they met them at a trade show or something like that. It's not the right way to do it, but that's why people would typically want to do that. It doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah, you said the point. That's exactly what I heard from her, that she knows someone, then that someone introduced her, that industrial designer, then she knows another guy who introduced her, the circuit board designers, right?
Right.
But that's where the problems are, because when you talk about product development or manufacturing, you have to follow a certain process of design review, production review, with all different engineers with different experts and experience, because it's obviously not a one person job. Each individual has a limit of knowledge, of expertise and experience. We can't be perfect, right? That's why we need to work together.
Right.
From what I observed in the U.S. market, that was really a missing gap of a whole generation of the manufacturing talent, which I think people like you, who has been working in manufacturing and supply chain, I would say it's really rare in the United States. Over the past 20 years, in my work experience with American companies, people who are from this field that used to be like 50 or 60 years old, they are getting retired or already retired. The younger generation, they don't want to get the hand dirty. It's more exciting for the job
digital
in
products.
The Silicon Valley. That makes them rich overnight, and they prefer to work in Wall Street, which is
product development, physical product development is very tough. There's so many things that can go wrong, from the design phase, the prototype, to the manufacturing, to the shipping, things getting lost in shipment, things not going through customs, things not being delivered properly. Like every step along the way, there's like very often problems, right? Like along the entire supply chain. Whereas like if you're developing software, you still have some issues, right? Like building software is very hard. Usually it goes over budget. Usually it's not exactly the way that the client wants. There's a lot of issues, but they're kind of issues that can be resolved like remotely. Whereas a lot of the supply chain is trying to be resolved remotely, but it can't really be resolved remotely. For example, most logistics companies are just brokers for the big guys, right? There's so many middlemen, sitting in an apartment somewhere in Poland trying to move, you know what I mean? They're trying to remotely resolve issues, which you can do easily with software, SaaS products, stuff like that. But in supply chain, you really can't. Like, you have a client calls you and they want the shipping issue resolved. They're wondering why it's late. There's nothing you can do except ask the logistics guy. The logistics guy is not the guy that actually is like operating the ship or the plane. So he has to talk with, maybe a dozen other people to get the answer. By the time it gets back to the client, maybe it's already like been resolved. Maybe it's had another problem. So I would say because of this, most younger people probably wouldn't want to get into this industry. But the cool thing is I've noticed lately is a lot of younger people, including the project we're working on with the film and all that, they're in their 20s and they are starting to think about new ideas. So if we're able to capture that imagination of the new generation and be able to, translate what they're looking to do with a product and make it easy for them to develop and give us new product ideas, it could build a very powerful machine,
Yeah.
especially because it's much easier in some ways to develop products now. It's still difficult, but it's easier than say 20 years ago, right?
Oh yeah, sure. We have a lot more tools like 3D printers, which is easily accessible and affordable. Obviously, the transportation is way better than 20 years ago.
Right.
Much more effective and much more cost effective. If you are ready to learn, if you are ready to travel, like you and I, and nothing is too difficult.